Actually, I got a guest calling in here. We got Abdul Khan. What's going on,
Hello, how are
Abdul?
you?
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you? Thank you for having me.
No, man. Thank you for coming on, brother. Happy to have you on the show, and happy to introduce you to our audience. Now, I'm sure you get this a lot, so we're gonna get it out of the way, and obviously address it. Um, do you mind the relation to Amir Khan and having that constantly be brought up? Or is it a thing where you're eager to prove you're your own Khan, or do you embrace it and accept it as a head start on your career that fighters wouldn't normally get because you are the cousin of someone so popular in the sport?
First of all, it's something, that got me to the sport as it is. Looking up to him growing up, he was an icon, especially for the Asian community where we're from. And I wouldn't really say it's a head start because, I embrace it for sure. I learn a lot from him. It's nice that I can ring him and ask him for some advice when I need to, and he's like a big brother as it is. But head start wise, I don't really think so because I think I've had the same opportunity as any other fighter my age or who's around the same caliber as me. So I've just done what everyone else has done, which was just work hard and trust God and get to where I am now. I'm nowhere in this sport. I'm still a prospect, but opportunity wise, I've still built myself on the small house scene in the UK. I fought on his card, which was his last fight. That was obviously, something, I could, thank him for. And yeah.
So obviously you've been at work yourself as a professional. You're 11-0, and you've already gotten work with Terence Crawford, man. Now that was a while ago. I don't know if you've ever gotten to spar with him again. And if not, that's okay. But what did you think of his performance, and did you expect that?
I was at his last fight in LA. It was, you know, let's go like going back to the sparring session when I shared the ring with him. It was unbelievable experience. I've never been with anybody in the ring like him. His fluidity, his ring IQ, his ring general shape. He'll tire you out mentally before you even know it. And going to his last fight, I thought he won pretty comfortable. He really dictated the pace. He dictated the whole fight, to be fair. Yeah, Madrimov landed some clean right hands, but end of the day, it's boxing. You're gonna go in there and you're gonna get hit, just like in swimming. You're gonna go in there and you're gonna get wet.
Yeah, I scored it for Crawford 8-4 on my card, but I knew that Madrimov would give him some issues because of that footwork. What I didn't expect was him to turn into the feint god. He certainly used a lot of feints in that fight to keep, I guess, Crawford on his toes. But what would you say for someone that hasn't seen you fight in these 11 fights? How do you categorize your style?
Very quick, explosive, conditioned, and you know. I like to use my abilities. Whatever the opponent brings, I like to adapt, whether that's long range, whether that's close range, whatever it is. Right now in my career, I've not really had to show that. Um, but when it does need to be shown, I'm very confident that I will pull them out of the bag, especially with the work I'm getting. Right now, I'm in Vegas. I'm training with, Coach K and his stable. I've been getting really amazing sparring sparring Duke Reagan, who's a silver medalist for USA, and I'm just absorbing everything and like a sponge. When I next fight, I can't wait to show what I've been learning and what I've already had in my arsenal, and that's what we're doing right now.
How long have you been in Vegas?
I've been in Vegas for about 3 weeks now. I want to thank a good friend of mine who's in Dubai called Bill Dos Sanch. He helped me to get here, and you know, so credit to him.
And are you with S Jam?
I'm with Shane Watson. I think he's left SJAM now. I think he's,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
yeah.
Okay,
So
shout out
I'm with
Shane.
Shane. Yeah, big shout out Shane who got us on this. So you know,
And who is the promoter right now? Are you with a promoter or no?
we're actually in talks with somebody right now. We're in talks with two promoters, which is gonna get announced very very soon. Shane is right now in the background working on securing a really good deal. They're both coming out with good deals, so we're just gonna weigh up our options and see where we go from there.
Okay. So does it rhyme with Murrin or does it rhyme with Stern?
We will see. We
Let me
will
see.
see.
Let me see. Who did Amir start out with?
Amir started off with Frank Warren, and
Oh,
he took Amir to to win a world title. He built up Amir really well. Um,
okay. Yeah,
but
Frank is
yeah,
good at that, man. He did a great job with Dubois. I
yeah,
remember I remember, being frustrated with some of the matches that he gave Dubois early on, but then, I mean, look, he's really panned out, and he's one of the top heavyweights, and he's young, so everything really worked out where he can maybe take over because of the youth. I gotta ask, because of the name, there's a thing about your cousin and his chin. Is that something that goes through the back of your mind?
no, to be fair, when it comes to the chin thing, I don't think, let's weigh up all of his, the whatever's happened in the ring when he's, been hurt and been stopped and stuff. Talking about the chin, he's fighting guys like Canelo was a big guy, 175 pounder, 185 pounder in the ring, and that was Canelo would have knocked out a horse, with that right hand that he landed. Cause he hit Golovkin with the sabre. Golovkin's a full-fledged middleweight slash super middleweight. And then if you talk about the other KOs, or the stoppages, or whenever Danny Garcia was just, something Danny Garcia's been doing for a very long time. I don't think Amir's chinny. I think he's very tough. I've seen him spar, really tough guys, really big guys. I know sparring or fighting ain't the same, but he can take a shot for sure. It's just the guys who he has fought, they're really big punchers. Danny Garcia, Canelo, you know. Cal Brook was right at the end of his career, but Cal Brook couldn't even drop him, So Cal Brook's a big guy. Cal Brook's a big 147. Cal Brook's technically like a middleweight, and Cal Brook couldn't stop Amir. So I don't think Amir is really as chin suspect. I just think it's just um, a thing that's been built up from back in the day when he maybe had his first stoppage loss. But that stoppage loss, that could have happened to anyone. He was really young going into that fight. Um, I wouldn't say inexperienced, but I would say maybe it was too soon for what he was at the time. Frank was still building him, and I think I've seen something where it was his coach who decided to take the fight. It wasn't even Frank. So yeah, who else has really stopped him other than Canelo? Crawford was on his feet, but
I mean,
yeah,
he's
I don't
just
think.
he's just been put down a lot, and my question came more
But a
from
lot of
this.
great fighters have as well, though. A lot of
For
great fighters
sure,
have
for
as
sure.
well.
Tito Trinidad
Like
has gone
Ali,
down. No, Trinidad has
Tito,
gone down a lot of times. Gamboa's gone down
exactly.
numerous
Yeah, yeah,
times. But again, I know that is something that it's a stigma of revolving around Khan. And
yeah, for
again,
sure.
because you're related, I was bringing up the question not more about Khan, but more about you. Do
Yeah.
you do you think in the back of your head it could be hereditary? But the way you answered it initially sounds like you don't even believe that he has a chin issue.
I
You
don't
just
really
think those were
believe.
big punches.
I just think they were big punches, and even with myself, like I think every fighter should be a bit wary behind the mind, in the back of the mind. If you're not, then you just daft. In the ring, you've got to be prepared mentally for every circumstances that come around. Whether you drop him or he drops you, or you defending everything or everything. You have to be 110% going into that ring mentally, ticking all boxes. When you go through the fight in your head, you need to, like Crawford was saying, he envisions every moment in his head, even him being dropped, how he's going to react. So obviously, as a fighter, you have to be wary, but I don't think it's something I'm too worried about for now.
So speaking of traits that you might have gotten or have similar to him, do you think that you have that Amir Khan speed? Because he was remarkably fast and always known as a very fast fighter. One of the main reasons that a lot of his fans believed he would give Mayweather issues was because of his speed.
I think Amir's got his own hands, his own speed. I've got my own hands, my own speed. I do get told a lot of quick hands for sure. I think speed is definitely there, but his fast hands were completely like out of this world for sure. But I just can't wait to show everybody what I'm about when the opportunity does come.
So does that opportunity come after the announcement? Obviously, when you announce the promoter, it will come attached to some sort of fight deal, or is it just you're signing to them and then you have to do a secondary announcement when you're going to fight?
Yeah, it'll probably be a secondary announcement. To be fair, Shane Watson, he did tell me that we are looking to fight around November time in the UK. So he's got 2 dates locked in, one potentially early next year on a good card, not in the UK, somewhere abroad. So yeah, we're looking to step up now, obviously in a position, in rounds, looking to fight for titles now. We're just looking to elevate and everything. I've come out here to America to put myself in with the best, to test myself, sparring, training, everything. So that's what I'm looking to do.
Since you're with K, I'm assuming you sparred Shushu, right? You took advantage of that, no? Or he's not in the
Not really.
gym?
He's not in the gym. He's not in the gym. I think he's in camp for his own fight. But I think he's got certain amount of he's got his set sparring partners. I think he's brought in. But when the opportunity does come up, I would love to spar Shushu. I think he's just um, a great talent. I think he gives a lot. I think he probably beats um, all the world champions right now. I think he is well leveled. I've been in the gym with him at the same time. I've seen him train, and he's very skilled. He's very strong, very determined, and I think he gives the world champions the run for the money.
I got a few questions for the people before I let you go. Toledo Treese in Ohio here in America, he says, do you think boxing could benefit from having a place like the UFC Performance Center? Why hasn't the WBC, the WBA, the WBO, or the IBF created one, and have you ever taken a MMA fight?
Yeah, I feel like boxing would definitely benefit if the WBC or any of them sanctioning bodies came up with a performance institute. For sure, because if you're giving back to the fighters, the UFC do an amazing job. I know people say they don't pay as much, but at the same time, for the well-being, it seems like they do a lot. I was actually at the UFC. Shout out to Shane. It's just an amazing setup. They got everything a fighter needs, from the recovery stuff, from the training things, from everything, from top to bottom. So if a boxing did that, it would benefit a lot of fighters, because a lot of fighters, they don't really have sponsors either, or they don't really get paid as much where they can get their own, physio or recovery or all that stuff. So, for them to help the fighters, because it takes sanctioning bodies, you see. And I remember a few fighters saying, where does that money go? Obviously, I'm not in that thingy to say that, but I've seen a lot of fighters did say, like, I think it was, I can't remember who it was, but I've seen it on Twitter, like, where does the percentages go? They should put it back into boxing and invest into the fighters.
Absolutely. For sure, the WBC, I can vouch, has many different facets, and, percentages of those percentages go towards the WBC cares and different things that programs that they have. They are heavily involved in the WBC amateur system. Like, we have an amateur event. Our event is sponsored by the WBC. They give out belts, medals. These things cost money to make, so that comes from the sanctioning fees as well. And that's ground zero. If a kid is fighting for a WBC belt or medal, he's a little more motivated than fighting for a ringside title. So I'm not saying that all the money is being used wisely, but I know for sure the WBC has different facets of their company where they give back in many different aspects of that. But I got some more questions here. Huang out of Houston here in America says, has the civil unrest in the UK affected your training and upcoming events in any way?
No, not really. The civil unrest is that the riots and stuff.
I'm assuming. I'm not into politics, man.
I don't even know, to be fair. If I'm honest with you, I don't even keep up with politics. I just don't even watch the news.
Word.
To be fair, I've been here for about 3 weeks. I'm not even, bro, you know what? I don't even watch the news. I don't know. I don't even vote. I don't even do any of them things. I'm so like
Locked in.
behind and all that. Yeah, like I don't even know what day it is in the UK. So but all I do know is that when I am there, like nothing's ever affected me from going to the gym or affected my hustle or grind or anything. Um,
Nice.
like the news is just terrible. I think it just promotes bullshit all the time, and I never really watch that shit. Even like politics. I don't know who to vote. I don't even know what Labour is, the Labour Party. I don't know what any of them bullshit is. I know it's pathetic and people probably get a bit like shit for it, but nah, man, I just don't have interest in it. I just think, just be a good human in the end of the day and
Yeah.
just keep doing what you got to do. And yeah, to answer that question, nothing's really, since I've been there, I've not known anything that stopped me from any events or anything. Everything's still going the same in the UK, to be fair.
I got Octo that says, greetings, champ. Talk about the type of music you're into and who are some of your favorite artists.
I love old school hip hop for sure. Always, when I train, I listen to 50, I listen to Tupac, I listen to G Unit, I listen to all these guys. I just love old school hip hop for sure. They're definitely my favorite artists. Probably today's era. Obviously Central C, he's doing bits. Obviously Pop Smoke is not longer with us, but may his soul rest in peace. I think he was another good one. But
Hell yeah. I hate that he's gone, bro. I hate because he need more
gone too
music.
soon, huh?
Yeah, he need
Gone
more
too
music. He
soon.
had that voice, man. I'm from the East myself, so he was very, like, that voice was very similar to 50 too. I loved it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like I like them type of people for sure.
Shout out to 50, right? Tone, I'm sure he produced that album after Pop Smoke died. He's the one that helped produce and release that album.
Yeah, absolutely. He his album, yeah, 50 definitely had a hand in that for sure.
I got a couple more for you, Abdul. We got One Way Renzo that says, One Way Roseville, Georgia. I saw an interview with you and Roy Jones Jr. He is currently a part of your team. If so, what has he meant to your development? Looking forward to your American debut.
Roy mentors me a lot. I've got a really good relationship with Roy. You know, advice and everything. Whenever he's in the UK, we'll always link up, and I speak to him like every other week. He'll send me some tips and something to work on and things like that. And in the UK we do work, and he has had a big development, in a lot of things, mindset especially. Roy the dog, he's gonna be in there for sure. Like, him in his prime was just something unbeatable. Like I seen a post the other day, like who wins him or Canelo in the primes. Like Roy, I don't think anyone beats Roy Jones in his prime. Like one, nobody, none of these guys now, none of these guys back in the day, none of the guys in his era for sure. But yeah, he's helped a lot. He was in my corner for one of my fights in Dubai. We had a really good win, got a good knockout win. Um, but a lot of nice little things he teaches. And yeah, it will definitely come into play when I do have my American debut, inshallah.
I got Donald from Baton Rouge. Who is your pound for pound GOAT? But I seen your post, so I'm assuming it's Crawford.
Yeah, yeah, for me, definitely Crawford. I just think he's going through the levels of fun. I think he'll win undisputed in 154. He can win a world title at 160. But I think 168, maybe the Canelo fight, if he can secure it, it'll be a really good fight for him and his family, financially. But, I think Canelo's just too big. I think there's weight classes for a reason in boxing. But for now, my pound for pound great is definitely Crawford for sure.
And looks like the last one, and thank you for your time, is from Treese. He says, have you talked to Ben Shalom and Boxer?
Nah, never, never. I fought on one of his shows once, and you know, good to work with for sure. I was only like fighting in the 4 rounder then, but Now, I leave the talking to my team. To be fair, they speak to promoters, and uh, it's just best way to keep it.
So to be clear, you prefer Crawford not to fight Canelo at 68?
I think no, not really. I think he'll be definitely a good fight for him for sure. He should definitely test himself, but I don't think there's weight classes for a reason, and he doesn't really need to fight Canelo to secure his legacy. He's already got a legacy. Four-weight world champion, you know, two-time undisputed. He can become three-time undisputed. What has he got? Two of the belts?
Canelo has 3, and the
No, I
ring.
mean Crawford, right? I mean
Right.
Crawford right now.
He's
in
got 1
154.
and an interim.
What interim title is it? The
Yeah, he's
WBO.
got the WBO interim. If Fundora doesn't fight him, then he gets that full belt.
And does Fundora have 1 belt or 2 belt?
2, he got the full WBO and the full WBC.
I heard Fundora's meant to be fighting Spence. Is that true?
In October, there's rumors of Spence Fundora, but there's also the WBO order that Fundora has to fight Crawford or get stripped. So he's got to decide, does he want to get stripped and still fight Spence just for 1 belt or defend both belts versus Crawford?
I think he should definitely defend 1 belt against Spence, and then he'll be. I think Fundora beats Spence for sure. I just think he's too big, and no disrespect to Spence. I
But
think
don't
he's
you
not
think the
ashamed of
people
himself.
don't you think the people will assume he's ducking Crawford if he vacates a belt to fight Spence?
People can say what they want, but I think if you look at it tactically, if he fights Spence next, which is a very beatable fight, he'll have 1 belt for sure. But Crawford will have what? 3 belts or 2 belts?
2.
2 full belts. And then who's got the last belt is that the Russian guy, right? He's
Yep.
fighting Tim Zunic. So I think Crawford should fight the winner out of Fundora Spence. I think it'll be a good fight for Fundora. I think he needs 1 more good fight like that to fight Crawford, but he won't beat Crawford. So I think Crawford can beat him, and he'll have 3 belts. And then Crawford versus, I think Tim Tszyu would win the fight, so that would be for undisputed, and that would be another showdown. And I think Crawford will get paid big money for that, especially with Turkey involved. And yeah, I just think he can maybe go up to middleweight max, fight, win a world title. But 168, I just think it's too much because Madrimov looked big in there, but Crawford looked bigger.
Well, those are all the questions. Abdul Khan, I
Thank you.
appreciate you coming on the show. Please give out your social media for anybody that isn't following who can do so. And we look forward to getting you back on. The minute you get anything announced, let us know, and we could get you back
for
on.
sure.
Even the announcement of the promotional company as well.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on the show. My Instagram is abdulkhan.1. My
All
Twitter is
right.
abdulkhanboxer.
Thank you, brother. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Abdul.